Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday, the 25th of June. So let's look firstly then at news of events occurring today. Well, we've got the Canadian data coming out, inflation there at 130. Side of that really, but US data coming through. Price index, not really so interested in these here. Consumer confidence, it does sometimes move a little bit, it's not a biggie. I just have a look on here for this. Actually gives me the speakers. There's quite a few speakers you'll spot throughout. Got a few speakers which might create a bit of volatility as we go through the day. Aside of that, I just wanted to just check on no, nothing else there. That will do for the moment. Okay. It's always catches me when you see headlines like this: define a mix down Wall Street amid growing rumours that the tech sector's rise might be coming to an end. Well, it could be coming to an end at any stage, couldn't it, realistically? Anyway, let's get on and look at these markets and the euro. So euro yesterday had a decent climb there. In fact, I should say the dollar had a decent sell-off yesterday as much as anything else. It's whether or not this can carry on at the moment. We're into its weekly R1 at the moment on the euro. There's this level around here. If I just put my cursor around where it is at the moment, there's a sort of a point where it is finding support and resistance. It's sort of a bit pivotal around this area. If we can break back up, well, we could get a continuation on this. Looking though in the shorter time frame here, we've got the daily pivot below untouched at the moment. Perhaps, I mean, it's ugly and it's not really tradable, but scalpy if it was to be taken. But perhaps in the next hour, if it was to break the low of this bar, then the daily pivot could be a reasonable target. It's sort of got this sort of double toppy sort of bit of price action, as mentioned, which looks a bit weaker. We've seen a reaction to the price into the bodies there. We'll see what happens here, but if it comes back to the daily, I would be looking to see if it manages to bounce off it, whether we're going to start seeing something more coming through on the euro here. A bit more of a correction yet to see. The pound. Now the pound also yesterday we'd already been seeing yesterday. It had been bouncing quite nicely off that 50 MA, the daily 50. Into some trouble here. It's into its 4-hourly 50. The 200 still pointing up here, still some positivity maybe still in the markets, and it has taken out the previous high there, but again, well, this is more diverging at the moment, and again we've got the daily pivot below, so it's whether or not this can actually push up there. And again, a break of the lows there could see a scalpy trade down towards the pivot, or you could just wait for it to hit the pivot and look to see if it gets a bit of bite and turns round. But both of these just a bit soft at the tops here. It's quite making it questionable. The yen, I've done a whole video on the yen because obviously people start asking, well, is it the time to actually start buying the yen, sell the dollar here? The dollar's been pushing up so strongly against the yen. Is it time? And we've seen a lot of comments. So there's a separate video on this, but it is showing signs of weakness here. I mean, these sort of spikes down could occur on any sort of rumor very quickly. There's talk of potential intervention, etc. As I said, done a whole video on that. You can watch it on YouTube. It's on my YouTube site, so you can. I'm not going to go into great detail on that this morning. Aussie dollar. The Aussie dollar, very tight and ugly on the dailies. Of course, that's not changed, and it's not going to change until it starts getting a bit more momentum. It seems to be in a happier place now. Yesterday we saw it put in the morning a bit of a pivot swing. It came off in the afternoon, but since pushed up there and looking a little bit more positive where it is. There's my trend line I've drawn over the top there. It was really technically still in the downside until we broke that. In fact, there you go, you see from the sort of morning it just rolled back a bit, but it's picked up, giving us higher lows. Structurally, it's now not only giving us higher lows on this time frame, but also broken the trend line that was sort of sitting there. So technically it's looking much more positive. We'll scrap that trend line and pop a trend line along the lows now, because it's technically up on that time frame. Not so much on the 4 hourly, I would suggest. To make it a bit more positive on the hourly, it would need to break last week's highs there, but certainly looking a bit more positive on the lower time frames, with some potential, but I wouldn't get too. The big money still doesn't like it, but technically it's still happening, and if the price is happening, well, perhaps we should be going in there, but beware. US dollar CAD, this has been running quite well over the last week-ish, I say, because it's sort of quite high frequency. If you look at the retracements that have been coming back on this 4 hourly, even yesterday, not yesterday, that was Friday, big pardon. Yesterday was actually much smoother, and it looks like it's got more downside to be had here. Again, it's just done this sort of bit of divergence, I should imagine, at the bottom. I would look at the selling points, maybe back into the daily pivot, just as with the others, the buying point back into the daily pivot. This may be, of course, it depends on its reaction, but this has gone quite a bit further than the others in terms of breaking its, if we inverted this back, breaking its previous high, but in this case breaking the previous low. Anyway, New Zealand dollar. So New Zealand dollar hasn't quite. I've got you can see I've got an alert set up there ready. Still hasn't gone from that. It's sluggish compared to the others at the moment. This could all change. It's still seen as a bit more positive than the others, but it's a right old mess. I'll leave that alone. Swissy. Don't like messes. Swissy dollar, US dollar Swissy even. This is still very, very slow. I was waiting for the pullback to the weekly here, but look how slow it is. It's really, really, really slow, and it's just going into these. You see them consolidation phases. It might not even come back how it's looking, but I'm just being patient. But in the bigger picture, I want to be buying this and holding for a while, but it's not looking too decent at the moment. Very messy. Look at it on the hourly point of view. I was just staying clear for a short while. I'd rather it come back, get a reaction off the weekly pivot. So patience needed there. Okay, so there you go. There's the majors. The euro, likes the euro yen. Showing some signs of, well, on the lower time frame here, showing some signs that it could be rolling over. But with all these markets, and as I've mentioned in my video, is you wait for the technicals to show you your hand, and at the moment this is strongly to the upside. It could well go, but it's been strongly to the upside, and it could have gone in any of these periods here, and it could have carried on rolling when it was pulling all this, but it's really barely gone anywhere, and we're still seeing the strength of the dollar, the weakness of the yen all the way through this. In this case, it's the strength of the euro and the weakness of the yen. But euro pound, just finally on this one, I was just waiting to see if it breaks the it's really from here. It broke through yesterday, but it's taken away the sort of profit potential here and come back in. But I think this will drift back up there, but it's more of a drift than anything else. If you want to sit in a drifty old trade, this could well be it. It's got the higher lows coming through. We've seen it from last week and into this week. Just watch out for those horrible gappy bits of price action, but to leave your stops well away from this from the current lows. No good putting a low down here, because you get something like that happen at 10 o'clock in the evening and you're stopped. So you've got to allow wideish movements. It's more of a bigger, longer swing on this. Right, I should just leave the Forex there as a quick look for those that are following the indices. And oops, if I can put the indices on it, I'll get the right one. There we go. And look at gold, but gold first. And you see, well, yes, they did plop up a little bit there, but it's just consolidating, coming off a little bit this morning. Bear flag arguably on the 4-hourly there, which is triggered, so it's not looking too favourable at the moment, but uncertainty, the longer it hangs in here and doesn't roll over, perhaps it will come back up, but it's triggered what would have been a flag there, or what is a flag there. It's whether or not it carries on and through. The oil price still pushing up there nicely. Didn't get back to my weekly pivot, which was a bit of a shame yesterday. I was waiting to see if it did that. Never got back there. But might get back to daily today. But we're sort of double topping. Well, we double topped here, looking a tad weak at the moment. But we'll see what reaction we get later. But oil has been gradually, well, say gradually, it's rather stealthily at times. You just think, well, it's not really doing too much, and has a little bit of a consolidation, then flies off, and well, it is pushing up at the moment. S&Ps then. Okay, so everyone's getting a little bit worried about the S&Ps, the tech stocks, and etc. as well. It does look softer, but hardly soft in the bigger scheme of things, and really it comes back to like when I'm looking at the dollar yen. I mean, it's pushing up strongly at the moment. Is there a real need if in any of this? If you'd been buying maybe at this point here, when it's put a confirmed higher low back into this market, and you could get all of that, do you really need to be trying to catch something that would have been coming down here at any stage? It's just a case of a bit of patience. So yeah, it might be showing a bit of weakness more so on this 4-hourly. So there might be reasoning behind it a little bit here. It's got sort of the lower highs, but in fact, this is the first time it's sort of backed off as it has. So maybe a little bit more softer looking. Very horrible over Friday into yesterday, and well, it started off the day a bit on the softer side. Maybe on the for the intraday traders, it might be an opportunity there on the shorter side, but for the bigger term, longer term traders, as with the Nasdaq here, very wary. Although it is showing signs of some softening, and certainly on this hourly point of view. So again, it might be good for the day traders, but just be wary. I'm just looking at Dow Jones here. So, Dow Jones is going the other way. Look, I was looking at this as a potential short side of things when everything else went weak. This is where the money's running to at the moment. It seems it's pushing to the upside. Going completely opposite. DAX still looking, well, consolidated and quite ugly where it's sitting. Most of the last week it really did little, and looking soft at the moment in the current price action. Lower high coming through here this morning. We could see a continuation of that back to those prior lows, so looking quite soft there. And the FTSE. So the FTSE yesterday, a bit like the Dow, seeing the best of things. It's just the way it's loaded. Breaking the highs here, but look, it's still looking iffy, but it has put some higher lows in there. It's actually, as I say, a bit more Dow-like, but we've seen the double top here looking soft at the moment. And again, the daily pivot could well be a target, and it looked like it could be a target quite quickly at this rate. Okay, I shall leave it there. I wish you a good day's trading, and I'll catch you later. For the room is, I'll speak to you in a moment.